Mic check. 1 2 1 2. All right, friends, welcome back again. I'm the Zim. This is the Zim video. This is the Art Professors podcast. This is the 2-week update, I guess, because we didn't record for 2 weeks. This is 2 weeks. We have to kind of break down. There's actually, I don't know. Again, I'm thinking that this won't be very long, but who knows? I might get on a roll about something. But I have a list of things to update you on for those that might have found this for the first time or decided to check it out for the first time, even though you knew what was going on. I'm the Zim. I teach art at Northwest Missouri State University. They have me in the graphic design department, trying to do my best teaching the students how to think as a designer, which I think I'm decent at. I don't think I'm the worst at. I think I kind of have a handle on it. I mean, honestly, the way I feel about it is this stuff is massively intuitive to me. I mean, it was like, I saw things as in my journey of being a visual artist type person, but I just basically like, you tell it to me once or you kind of suggest what graphic design is supposed to be like. And it's like, oh, that makes sense, you know, which is interesting to me to be working with students that have a learning curve basically and it's like the learning curve was like a vertical line for me, and it's hard sometimes. I don't know if it's hard. I recognize that students do have a learning curve, and I trying not to it's hard. What's hard is figuring out why it's not as intuitive to some of the students. Like, why is this idea just not just like automatically just like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Just it's like there's like this struggle of like what you need to be looking for and thinking about when it comes to thinking like in contemporary design and graphic design type of way of looking. But anyways, so that's where I'm at teaching right now. Last year I taught at San Diego State University because the year before that I graduated with my Master of Fine Arts and they hired me to work there a couple classes right out of the gate, which was awesome. Really do appreciate that happened. And then long before that was my undergrad at the University of Washington. And then in the middle between undergrad and graduate school, I was playing music a lot. Doing the music thing, figuring out life, got married, had kids, got divorced, all this stuff. So yeah, we bring a lot to the table here at the Art Professors podcast. Now we're in Northwest Missouri, just trying to figure it all out. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks. Oh, the other thing we have to make sure you're reminded of as well is I have an exhibition this summer at the Hiram Van Gordon Gallery at Tennessee State University. You know, I've never heard it pronounced. I'm just assuming that that's the way it's pronounced. It seems to be the way it should be pronounced. Hiram Van Gordon. Whenever I do it on TikTok and stuff and do like the voice dictation, it's like here, Here, in like, it's just like all over the place. But Hiram, 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 that's what Van, V-A-N, Gordon, 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 I think. Anyways, Tennessee State University at Nashville, Tennessee, in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be there May 13th through the 30th. I'll probably email them after this because I'm still waiting to hear back if they managed to secure or allow me to stay on campus at some campus housing situation. I hope that works out. But yeah, well, I'll check in because honestly, at this point, I'm sleeping in my car unless something crazy happens. You can donate, you can help me out. I need if I'm going to do Airbnb or something like that, people have suggested like a hostel and like things. I'm just like, if I'm going to do a hostel, I'll just sleep in my car. It's like, I don't know. It just, something about doing that kind of situation just is like, it makes me like, I'm like, man, it makes me anxious, I think, is what it does. It makes me anxious. It makes me like, that makes me feel out of awkward. The goal would be campus housing of some kind or rent an Airbnb, but I might be running out of time since I don't have the money to do it. I need about $3,000, $4,000 honestly, to stay for a month in Tennessee. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just kind of assuming something will work out, and I probably am foolish for it. I do have friends in the area, but I really don't want to have to stay at a friend. I mean, they're acquaintances, I guess you could say, more than friends. Like, they're people I know that know me from my music world, my music life, that live there. And it's just, I don't know. I'll be kind of on a weird schedule going to the gallery every day, and I really don't want to have to stay at somebody's house. And just that whole thing, it's just, I know they probably, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be a burden, but it just feels like something I don't really want to do. But regardless, we have our exhibition. Hopefully it works out. What have we been up to? So that's coming up in May. Looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. That's like the ultimate thing. So the last couple of weeks of school have been pretty chill. Like last week, the week before last, the week that I would have recorded, I had on that Friday, I had an event at school, kind of like a recruitment event on campus, where they bring in a bunch of high school students from all around the area, and they do little workshops and stuff. They learn about the art school here, and maybe they want to, depending on how their kind of life goes, they might end up at this school, and so they'd already have a little bit of experience in the art building, so they can just be a little more comfortable, I guess. So that happened, and what I did during that recruitment event was I did a tunnel book making workshop, and it was the first time I've ever done a workshop, and I mean, there's still fine tuning to do for sure, but I think it actually turned out really good. And now I have a workshop that I can do for an hour anywhere, like as long as I have the supplies, right? And the supplies aren't even that expensive, like a bunch of X-Acto knives, and then little cutting mats are the kind of two hardest to acquire things. But then after that, it's just paper, just a bunch of paper, hopefully cardstock, cardstocky kind of paper. But essentially it doesn't even need to be cardstock, but it'll just be easier. But then and then just regular copy paper, and we made these little white tunnel books, cutting out shapes and stuff. And it seemed like, everybody seemed to have a really good time. There was about 15, a little less than 15 each time. And my student helper really got into it. They made 2 tunnel books because they were excited about the process of it. So that was really cool. Maybe they made more since then. So that was cool to have that experience. And now I feel even more confident if I apply to a school or apply to something somewhere, and they want me to do a workshop kind of thing, then I'll be like, I do this tunnel book workshop. This is what I need to do it. There you go. And they could be like, cool. Which brings me to, let's see what else in the last 2 weeks. So one of the things that happened for me over the last week, so the end of last week after the workshop, I was like kind of focused on the workshop, a little bit nervous about it because I'd never done it. And then the following Monday, I had basically my final lecture in this one course that I'm teaching. It's my final sort of on the books lecture. Maybe something else will come up, but that was the final biggest lecture, and it's and so now it's just like maintenance through the rest of the semester, because it's a class that I teach with other professors. There's 4 of us. They call it, I'm sure I mentioned it before on the podcast, but there's this class they call NACTIV, which is a bunch of departments, a bunch of different schools in the university work together for this like client-based project. So, and they divide into teams. There's 3 teams that are trying to like win the bid basically for a project. So, and there's like designers involved in it, and marketing people and strategists and whatever, all the things. So I had my like final real lecture for that class, and I was kind of nervous about that too, because this is very like brand new territory for me. So I was like, I think I did good. Everybody said I did a decent job on it, so I'm happy about that. But and so now basically, and then this weekend right now, I have a to put together a tutorial for one of my other classes. For next week's classes, I have a little bit of a Photoshop lecture I have to put together, but I'm not worried about that because I just have to do it. So Sunday is my day to do that. And I have till Thursday to get that worked out because I have some time for that. So I'm not too stressed about that. But really, for all intents and purposes, right? From here till the end of the semester. So we just got done week 6. We're going into week 7. There's 15 weeks left of school week. And then there's a 16th week for finals, which I don't use for finals. I use for celebration. So for my classes, it's up till 15, about, 8 more weeks to go. Or 9 or something. But anyways, it may seem early, but I'm okay with it because in terms of what I'm about to say is like, it's sort of coast mode from here on out. Like all the sort of stressful stuff. I have another workshop I have to do similar to the one that we just did, another high school oriented thing that's coming up in March. We have a couple weeks left and then spring break happens. So it's really just maintenance, a lot of just maintenance, introducing projects, working with the students, but just kind of the kind of instruction that I prefer. This is like what I hope to get to with my career as an art professor in a way is, really it's more about me supporting the students than teaching like the lessons in a sense, if that makes any sense. That probably doesn't make any sense at all, but it's like I just set them off. I just get them started and then and I'm not thinking about the lesson planning the lessons because I just go like, okay, here's what you need to do. Now go. I'm not like building the lessons anymore. I mean, that'll be fine as it comes up, as I teach different classes, of course. But I guess it was just rough last semester where it was like till class started and then all throughout the semester was building lesson plans the whole time while teaching, which created a lot of work. One of the things I recognized after saying that is that idea of like the degree of like commitment to work, I guess you could say, and different ideas like that. And I'm realizing for myself, again, and I'm sure I've said this before, but the fact that I am ambitious to do my own things so aggressively, I was thinking about it's like right now, it's like, and I'm sure I said this before, it feels like there's like at least at minimum one class too many for what I desire for my life, like I'm teaching 4 classes and I feel like if I was teaching a maximum of 3 classes and the things that I want to do, it would be much more in tune with what I'm about, it's like how I function. Maybe there are professors or maybe people that teach or whatever that they are all about the teaching, right? So maybe they don't do as much extra work or try to do different things and things like that. But what I'm recognizing, it's like I just feel tired all the time. And I'm sure it's partly because of my age, but it's partly because of the desire to keep trying to do other things besides just the day job in a sense. And I guarantee that's a big part of why my body, my mind, and my everything feels the way it does. I mentioned before, it's like it's really hard to remember. I can't remember it's like everything's one day at a time, and just like I have to like look at the schedule to remember what's going to happen tomorrow, which again is not ideal. But that's where we're at. A couple things. So what we're working toward. Okay, one thing that happened. So if you remember the last podcast, I was mentioning I was pretty depressed. I had a really bad moment. I was really depressed. I was just horizontal for the entire weekend, and I was just really like not feeling it. And one of the things I forgot to mention was the result of that was I got notified that one of the grants I applied to I didn't get, and that really like in that moment really like affected me even more. I was just like, God darn it. So it was like the CAA website. If you are an art professor, there's this website called CAA, which is College Arts something association, I guess, but they don't have it an obvious spot on their website like what the CAA stands for. and I never remember. So it's CAA. But that's where I look for all my job listings and stuff. And they have other things. They have like conventions. They have workshops. They have like, they're like a website that's like, they're sort of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, I mean, a union in a sense, but not a union. They're just like a institution, some kind of thing that supports the whole idea of arts, college arts, you know, as from all different places. But I just mainly know it for trying to find jobs. So they had an artist grant, you know, unrestricted artist grant that, you know, you could, and I applied for it, got letters of recommendation, all that stuff, and I didn't get it. So, and I was just kind of disappointed about that. And it made me think, like, I've been having one of those, not self-doubt's not the right word, but those moments of like, kind of, I don't know how the right way to put it, but it's kind of like my work sucks kind of. It's like, is my work even any good, you know, kind of feeling about life right now. It's like, I'm definitely wished I had more eyes on my work. I wish I could figure out how to get into more situations. I know I have to be patient is a big part of it, just having patience. But again, I don't feel like I have the luxury to be very patient because, you know, I'm getting older and things could happen and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And it's just kind of like, you know, and trying to figure it out. But I've been having a lot of that kind of, not self-doubt's not the right word, but just feeling like what gives? What's the deal a little bit? Like, and just keep working. I think you've seen and know, and I don't remember at where we left off, but those of you that are watching the video, I have a bunch of drawings all around me right now. I have on my left side, there's Caitlin Clark, who just broke the NCAA women's all-time scoring record for women's basketball. She's a phenom. She's awesome. She's amazing. And I drew her today, earlier today, as part of my practice. I've decided I'm drawing now twice a week for my kind of content creation / practice / you know, live streaming, stuff like that, where I was only doing once a week, but now I'm doing every Tuesdays and every Fridays. I was playing a game on Tuesdays because part of my game streaming content that I do. And I've decided to get rid of that stream and just focus on the art, because I met with another faculty member, another professor the other day, and they made this comment of work makes work kind of idea, and timing was just perfect. That I was kind of getting sort of bored of streaming that game and realizing, and I've been knowing that I need to make more work on the regular and do the thing and just kind of keep figuring it out, you know, and keep exploring. And my evolution of my work now is every time you know about this already, or you should if you've been here for a little bit. When I started the practice drawings for the Justin Jones and Justin Pearson drawings for the exhibition, I did 4 of each, and I really liked what happened by doing 4 at a time and what I can do with them afterward, and just the feeling of like just kind of using each one to practice for the next one and just different things like that. And so ever since then, I've done that same kind of process where I did 4 of each. The next one I did, I think I did Tumaj Salahi, because I was requested to do that one. And then I did Billie Eilish, and each of them, those were 4 at a time. And then I did, I think Michelle Obama was the next one, which was the hardest of them all. I think one of the 4 drawings kind of looks like her. So I don't know what happened there. It just didn't quite work out. And then today, then on Tuesday, who did I do? It's behind me somewhere. Oh, I did TikTok. Oh, Cook, which I have to show you. Those of you that are watching, I have to show you. I don't remember her name in terms of how to pronounce it, because it's an ethnicity that I'm not as familiar with the pronunciations, but I'll just say Abir. She's a TikTok personality, and so every Tuesday I'm going to be drawing TikTok personalities, because as you know, maybe you don't, I like to play on TikTok and have fun. But this drawing right here, I think is the best drawing that I've done in a really long time. I just love the way this turned out. This is just the contrast, the way my mark making, like while I was in doing it, like the proportions are, and it looks like her, and it's just like amazing. And then so then today, and it's the third drawing of that set. So I bumped it down. Instead of doing 4 at a time, I'm doing 3 at a time, because the 4 at a time was just a little bit more, I was recognizing that was kind of like a little bit more of a struggle than I really want to deal with when I'm doing these. And plus, since I'm on Tuesdays, I'll be doing after classes, and I just don't want to, it takes me like 4 hours of a stream to do the 4. And if I do 3, I can pretty much get them done in 3 or less. And so that's much better. I'm trying to aim for a half hour of drawing. That's the goal, half hour drawing, because that's the goal for this summer. With when I do my exhibition, I want my drawings to be done in a half hour each drawing. Of course, those will happen because I'll get so efficient, because I'm doing 72 and 69 of each of the faces. So by the time I get to number 20, at least, or even sooner on each of those, they will be going less. They'll be like 50. I'm not 15 minutes, but I bet you I'll hit that half hour pretty consistently, because I want to have transition time. What I'm hoping to do is prep the boards. So I'm going to do 10 drawings a day. So I'm going to prep my boards. I'm going to get 5 boards that they can fit on. And then back to back on each side of the board, I'll put the 10 pieces of paper, prep it all at the beginning before I start. So so I'm not prepping between each drawing. So that's the goal there. But I did Caitlin Clark today, and 3 drawings of Caitlin Clark, and I'm really liking what's happening with this process of doing it 3 at a time. And then I do these little GIF kind of things. I do these little videos where I just kind of loop the 3 drawings, so it creates this different kind of content on, you know, for sharing out to you and everyone else, that it's just not a static drawing. It's kind of like doing this kind of like loop of the 3 or 4 drawings depending on. So anyways, that's where we're at. And so that's what I'll be doing for a while, like every Tuesday and Friday, hopefully, as long as nothing else gets in the way of it. That's what we'll be doing. So hopefully you'll join me on my YouTube channel and kind of check it out whenever I'm live. The Tuesday ones will be more in the evening. I'm Central Time. So I'm thinking 5 or 6 it'll start Central Time. And then the Friday ones I'm trying to do right away, the first thing I do. So it just depends on what time I get up. Like today I might start it at noon, but I'd actually like to do a little bit earlier in that. So if I prep my pages before the night before, that would go a little faster too. But this morning, I didn't even know I was going to draw Caitlin Clark until like this morning. So, and then, cause she just broke the record of scoring. Okay. So that's what's happening with my artwork, with some of that stuff. One of the things that's coming up, hopefully, that we're working on at school is I'm going to do an artist talk for the students. So I'm really looking forward to that. Can't wait to get that on the schedule and have it happen. I'll try to record it. Yeah, I'll definitely like see if I can get somebody to film it for me, or if I at least set up my phone in the corner and just let it record me doing my talk. That would be pretty cool. So we'll see how that goes. What else? Oh, okay. So last couple things. Okay, we're good here. It's 24 minutes. we filled up the time. If you have anything you want me to talk about or know about, make sure you jump in the comments. Best places to find the video on YouTube, and just comment on any of the Art Professor podcasts and just say what you're thinking. It doesn't have to be the one directly related to the one you just listened to, but that's the best way to comment, and really hasn't happened yet. So hopefully it will start happening. The one thing that I've recognized in my journey, so 2 things that have happened lately. So I'm hoping, because I've only done this really 1 year, I'm hoping that my impression of what happened and my memory of what happened last year is still accurate, and what last year wasn't an anomaly. And I'm hoping this year won't be an anomaly either, in terms of it being extremely different in a less positive way. But basically what I'm saying is, like, there hasn't been a lot of positions available yet. There hasn't been a lot of positions open for what I'm looking for, like the visiting faculty kind of thing. And I remember seeing them when it got a lot closer to the summer. So this school gets done in April, so it's even kind of early than most schools. So maybe by May, maybe it's like I'll be waiting till May till I start really seeing more of them. But there's been hardly any visiting faculty positions that I qualify for. So I don't know if the word, I'm worried about it, but I'm just kind of like noticing it. So, but what kind of, I don't know. Check. We'll put we'll just notice that and see what, as time goes on, I'll keep reporting to you on what's out there, what's happening. So hopefully more graphic design and drawing, positions open up. Maybe some place is desperate like this place was, that'll be like, yeah, we need somebody, you're tired. It's like they'll get a late resignation or moving on, or something will come up and they'll just like, oh, we just need to fill the spot for the year, plus the ones that they do know about, like people going on sabbatical and stuff. So I don't know, fingers crossed that something comes up. That would be honestly, that would be the ideal situation. It's just that there's just something out there. It doesn't have to be perfect, and just go and just do it for a year and kind of keep doing that. The other piece of it too is it feels like I'm having the sensation lately that my life is kind of going in two directions in terms of feeling kind of successful or feeling like growth, I guess you could say, about what it is. In one direction, I'm like, okay, I've had this 1 year now, or, almost completed 1 year of teaching. I have more experience, so I have that positive growth toward this direction of, okay, I have one more year of experience of being an art professor, doing different things, that. And then there's like the other idea where this kind of fear more, but it feels like I go in the other direction. Like it's like I'm going the wrong way because of choices I'm making or something. But I think it's mostly stemmed in potential like fear or something, but it also feels like it's connected to like how just society in general is at this point where it's really hard to get by and you have to work all the time, and I just have no desire to work all the time. I have no desire to work all the time, and I don't know if it's whatever. Okay, let me rephrase that. I have no desire to work all the time for somebody else. I'll work all the time for myself. If I was able to generate money off of the drawings I'm making or my live streaming or whatever I was doing enough, I would do it all the time and it wouldn't be a problem. It's the problem that I'm back into this kind of space of spending too much time for someone else. And it's like, that's not my body, my mind, my physical being cannot sustain that feeling. And I was lucky that was the best part about my graduate school experience up till I left San Diego, was even though it was tight, even though it wasn't perfect, that piece was there. The work life is kind of like work-life balance in terms of what I was doing for other people and doing for myself, in a way, just felt really good. It was like perfect. But I'm hoping to find that space again, which makes me think a lot about what is it that I really want. And part of me is thinking like, maybe I just want to move somewhere. Maybe I just want to pick somewhere. And Detroit, Michigan has been kind of the top place on my list. And just figure it out. Just go like, okay, I'm just going to move there and I'm going to figure this out, try to get some adjunct positions, teach 2 classes, and then just make it by the rest of it. But I just can't handle the thought and idea and feeling of spending most of my time doing something for other people. It's really, really difficult for me. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And so because of that, so that plays into what I was saying, is like, there's this kind of 2 directions happening in what I feel like, because it's like, because it is so hard to survive. It's like, I've said before, it's like right now I'm in a position where it's like, I'm not feeling the fruits of the labor, in a way that makes me feel good. So I don't know. We'll just check back in on that. We'll check back in on that. as well, and how things are. But it's making me thinking that, yeah, like I said, I think I might just decide to go somewhere, and I'll probably have to pick up some odd side job for a while I get situated. Because I was reaching out to University of Michigan, right? The Wolverines, right? They're pretty close to Detroit, Ann Arbor, and learning about their system. And I was asking them about adjunct positions, and they only hire through a union. And it's like, oh, that makes it feel like you need to be established in the area. Like, a traveling person like me wouldn't be a part of a union unless I lived in the area, right? Because I couldn't afford to like pay union dues for everywhere if that's kind of a system. And so that was just an interesting thing to learn. Like, it feels like you're either getting hired as a visiting faculty or tenure track kind of, or a full-time lecturer as they announce on the job boards. But as far as like the kind of lecture pool kind of vibe, it's like they only pull from the people that are in that area already kind of established in the area, which is interesting. It's just another thing to recognizing how it works. How does this system of the different places that you can be an art professor, right? Obviously full tenure track, there's kind of full-time lecturers, but then there's also adjunct, part 1, 2 classes here or there kind of way of doing it. And then visiting faculty is another way to do it. So, and there's probably others in a sense that I don't recognize as well. But one of the things, last thing I think I'll mention today is at Michigan State or University of Michigan, I applied to, there's a artist residency they have there, which I applied to, which would be really cool to get. If I could manage to get that kind of system going where I'm jumping around to different like artist residencies, I feel like that would feel really good as well. But I do want to maintain the teaching part too. I just don't know, honestly don't know if I want to be a full-time tenure track kind of professor. I'd much rather, I've said it so many times, and you could probably read between the lines with all these podcasts I've done. I was probably like, that's what I actually want to do, is just be an adjunct, or just be a lecturer versus being a full-time tenure track person. But I don't know, maybe if the right spot comes along. The other thing that I recognize, and I think I might have mentioned this before, is that I like the idea of like, if the position had more of like not a full-time, but so some schools, let's see, how do I phrase this? I don't know this for a fact. When I was at San Diego State University, the professors just taught. They didn't advise unless they were asked to advise as an extra. They would do an extra piece. They would be like, maybe they would drop a course and advise. They would have a balance. At Northwest Missouri, the lecturers, the professors are expected to advise. That's like part of their workload. It's like you get divvied up a bunch of the students and you're advise the students. I think I could enjoy the advising piece if it was like kind of like I taught 2 classes and advised, that kind of situation. I feel like I would really enjoy that. Like, I'd really like that interaction with the students that way. And then the interaction with the kind of environment that way, like the advising kind of role. So we'll see if that manifests, because I could almost see myself being like the only drawback, or the only potential drawback of this would be it could make it feel like a 9-to-5, and that's not what I want. But that would be my primary role, would be more of an administrative advising kind of role versus a lecturing kind of role in the environment of an art school or something. I could see myself, and I can also see myself maybe eventually someday being a kind of a chair or director of departments. I think as I learn things, as I learn things, I think I could be good at that, because I'm pretty well organized, and I think I'm good at, talking to people, being like, not political is the right word, but it's like working with different personalities and reading the room. I think I'm good at that stuff, but Who knows? All right. That's it. I think that's it. That's all we had today. The last thing I'll mention, after I get done editing this and publishing it, I actually picked up some freelance work. So if anybody knows of the Furniture Society, it's in the art world. I work for them every once in a while and making little videos. So if you've ever been a part of the Furniture Society on their website or anything that they've done, you've probably seen some of my videos. They're just usually just edits of like interviews and things like that. So that's me. But anyways, that's what I'll be doing today, working on some videos for them after I publish this. And then I'm also going to be taking photos of my Caitlin Clark drawings and publishing them on the social outlets. All right, I hope you enjoyed this talk. It was kind of a ramble today, but that's what we got. I'm the Zim. This is the Art Professor's podcast on the Zim video. If you're not subscribed to the Zim video, please go over and subscribe. And I look forward to hearing some comments from you, some questions from you. So I'll be waiting for them until I hear from you. Then I hope you have a good day. And as always, be loving, kind, and patient. Peace, my friends.